taken by Niall Davis. He's going to bring it out between the hash and numbers on the left side. 15 breaks free. He's at the 30. He's at the 40. He's at midfield. Niall Davis, the Houston native. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Hearing that voice reminds everyone of one person, Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City is just made to be staccato. And then the touchdown's drawn out, but you have 3 syllables, just Kansas City. And with those consonants the way they are, you can hit a cymbal crash on all 3. So it makes that touchdown make it even more. It goes through your body and soul. And
the Chiefs season was a roller coaster of emotions, and Holthus was there for every call.
it was like watching a movie or reading a book, kind of like Facing the Giants or Remember the Titans. To have that start, it was so disappointing after a great preseason, the victory over Houston, then lose 5 straight games, but then to rally was a great testimony to this team.
Holthus has a special connection with Northwest. His son Brian works as a history teacher and JV head basketball coach. Brian listens to every broadcast and explains the keys to his dad's success.
His homework that he does to be prepared, that he has the relevant background facts at the right moments, that it's not just being silly, but he adds to the broadcast, and you walk away with something that you didn't previously know before that day.
Mr. Holthus explained what it was like growing up in a small town and how he got into the career of sportscasting.
You know, and you go to a small high school, you can do a lot of things. So I was involved in sports, but I was also involved in forensics and debate. I thought, how do you put those two together? I wasn't a great athlete, so I started working actually in radio in high school and decided, well, maybe these two can go together. Then I studied that at Kansas State.
For 13 years as the voice of the Wildcats, Mitch Holthus had an outstanding career.
Yeah, well, the Kansas State Athletics Hall of Fame is a recognition that he deserves. He gave his heart and soul to the university for, I believe it's 13 years, and he deserves that honor.
Holthus explained some of the differences between radio and TV and how it affects his broadcasting style.
Well, radio, you get to be more creative. I can pick apples off a tree. I can have humans piling on. I can have 18-wheelers blasting through hay bales. So you create the picture. Television, you see it. You're just there to embellish it, but radio, you create it.
The pair spent a lot of time together while Mitch broadcasted. Brian tells us of his favorite memory.
He took me on a trip to Ames, Iowa, where they played Iowa State. It was cold and rainy, and the press box there was some issue with it, and so we ended up broadcasting the game from his car as I sat in the passenger seat, and he pulled his car up right behind the backstop, and he broadcast the game on live radio from the car. And while I sat there and watched, so that's a moment I'll never forget.
For Game Day Northwest, this has been Brennan Wolford. Now, back to the studio.
Kansas City!